and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the Prime Minister. Thank you, and while you are standing, please remain standing for the playing of our national anthem. Be seated. Dr. the Most Honourable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, and who just so happens to be celebrating his birthday today. Happy birthday, Prime Minister. The Honourable Desmond Mackenzie, Minister of Local Government and Community Development. The Honourable Donovan Williams, Minister of State in the Ministry of Labour and Social Security and Member of Parliament for Central Kingston. Mr. Philip Paulwell, Member of Parliament for Kingston East and Port Royal. Mrs. Arlene Williams, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Infrastructure Development. His Worship, the Mayor, Councillor Andrew Swaby, Mayor of Kingston, and other members of the Kingston Municipal Corporation. Mr. Norman Brown, Chairman of the Urban Development Corporation, and other members of the Board of the Urban Development Corporation. Mr. Robert Honeygun, General Manager of the Urban Development Corporation. Dr. Oronde Small of the Caribbean Development Bank, together with representatives of our valued development partners. Mr. Jorge Martinez, Managing Director of the Caribbean Cement Company Limited, our contracting partners, representatives of public and private sector entities, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, specially invited guests. A very good afternoon to you. Again, good afternoon. I love it when we answer. I am Kimberly McLeod, and the pleasure is mine to take you through today's program. I also have the pleasure of welcoming you here today for the signing of the contract for feasibility studies and detailed design for Segment 2 of the Kingston Harbour Walk project. Now, when you think of what we're doing here today, you must consider it an important milestone. And we wanted to make sure we brought you to a place with a view of the harbour so you can imagine what the harbour walk will look like as you envision the future of Kingston. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon, which, how many of you know that Wednesday is also called Hump Day? Do you know why it's called Hump Day? Okay, so it is the middle of the week, and supposedly, once you get to the hump or get over the hump, it's smooth sailing for the rest of the week. So the UDC is so pleased that we are able to give you this warm welcome to Hump Day and to give you something to look forward to as you sail smoothly into the rest of the week and into the weekend. All right, at this time, I have the great pleasure of inviting our Deputy Chairman of the Board, Mr. Robert Lawrence, who will do the invocation.
the Most Honourable Prime Minister, Dr. Andrew Holness, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I invite you to stand. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we gather in your presence this afternoon with hearts filled with gratitude. We acknowledge the profound privilege to have in Jamaica to be openly able to pray, to lift our voices publicly, freely, and without restraint. We thank you for this blessing, and we affirm that we'll never take it for granted. Lord, your word in the book of Timothy instructs us to pray for all who are in authority. And so today, we faithfully uphold our leaders before you, our Prime Minister, our Minister of Government, the board and executive leadership of the UDC, and every stakeholder entrusted with the stewardship of national development. Grant them wisdom, clarity, courage, and divine insight as they guide this project and our nation forward. Father, we ask your blessing upon the Kingston Harbour Walk project. Let this initiative be marked by excellence, innovation, and sustainable transformation. Inspire every planner, engineer, consultant, and visionary with creativity, fresh ideas, and witty inventions that will strengthen our infrastructure, lift our communities, and advance Jamaica's development agenda. May the signing ceremony today signal not only the commencement of a project, but the continuation of a national vision, one that reflects your guidance, honor our people, and contribute to the long-term prosperity of our country. And now, O Lord, as we commit this gathering and this undertaking into your hands, we close with the aspiration drawn from our national pledge that Jamaica, under God, will increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity, and play a part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. In Jesus' name we pray. Thank you. Amen.
Thank you ever so much, Deputy Chairman Lawrence. At this time, our next speaker represents a key stakeholder along this belt, and it is through the vision and collaboration that we intend to proceed along with that we will make this project a success. So I have the pleasure of inviting the Managing Director of the Caribbean Cement Company Limited, Mr. Jorge Martinez, to address us.
Thank you very much, Mrs. McClure. So, Dr. the Most Honourable Andrew Holness, OMPC, MP, Prime Minister, Chairman of the Urban Development Corporation, UDC, Mr. Norman Brown, Deputy Board Chairman of UDC, Mr. Robert Lawrence, General Manager of the UDC, Mr. Robert Honeygan. Let me adopt, just on the interest of time, the rest of the protocols that have been outlined already by Mrs. McLeod. Other senior representatives from the UDC, all distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon again. So it is my pleasure to officially welcome to this facility that is a Carib Cement staff sports club and wellness center. You know, when I arrived here to Jamaica, I've been informed that in the past, this area used to be part of the main entrance of Jamaica, right? Some of those aquaplanes that arrive here to Jamaica used to use exactly this side of the country. So I was definitely excited to know how much history is behind this area. So my pleasure is to officially welcome you On this very big event, that is the signing of the agreement for consultancy services for the feasibility studies and detailed design for the segment 2 of the Kingston Harbour Walk project. We are really honored to host this important occasion at this facility. For us, that is more than a venue. It is an extension of our home, an integral part of our community, a vital component of our wider corporations that are located along these shores. It is deeply connected, our presence, to this landscape, to this transformative project seeks to reimagine, restore, and preserve for the generations to come. This Kingston Harbour Walk project is an ambitious and very forward-looking initiative, and we are proud to witness this milestone because of the long-standing connection to the communities, to our companies, and some other stakeholders that will live along this corridor. Many of our employees also live along these corridors. Their children attend some of the schools in this area, and our operations have been part of this landscape for decades. As an economic anchor and a neighbor and also responsible corporate citizen, we are committed to the well-being of our people around us. As this national project moves from the vision to execution, with designs completed, contracts awarded, and construction underway, you can be assured that Quarry Cement will be continually present. When Jamaica builds, we stand ready to be a trusted, supportive partner. The communities of Rockfort, Harbour View, and Kingston entire waterfront deserve our collective commitment, care, and confidence in their future. We are very proud to be part of the global family, Cemex global family, that is one of the world's leading building materials companies in the world. And at the same time, what Quarry Cement brings to Jamaica is distinctly local, a lasting stake in this country's future. We are here for the long term, supported by our workforce, our supply chain, our operations, and that we are rooted here in Jamaica, committed here in Jamaica, and ready to serve and continue being part of the history of Jamaica. When Jamaica calls, we will be here always. Together, let us continue building not only the infrastructure of tomorrow, but the greater Jamaica that we all want. Thank you for being here again, and thank you for being part of this effort. Thank you.
Did you hear that? When Jamaica calls, Quarry Cement will be here. This is exactly the kind of partnership that is necessary for the advancement of our country. So thank you again, Mr. Martinez. All right. The Urban Development Corporation is privileged to be led by a chairman who is able to very clearly articulate his vision, not just for urban development, but for the role that the UDC can play in our national development. And I know that this project is something that is very close and very special to him. So at this time, I do invite our chairman, Mr. Norman Brown, to give us some insights on the Kingston Harbour Walk project. Please give him a solid round of applause.
Thank you, Master of Ceremony, Ms. Kimberly MacLeod. Most Honourable Prime Minister, Dr. Holness. Happy birthday, sir, on behalf from the UDC and my family. I would like to observe all the protocols that have gone before in the interest of time. The full potential of Kingston Harbour is about to be realized, and the Urban Development Corporation is proud to be leading this transformation. Today's signing advances one of the most ambitious
public infrastructure, urban regeneration, and climate resilient projects ever undertaken in Jamaica. It moves the Kingston Harbour Walk from vision into detailed planning, design, bringing us another significant step closer to delivering a continuous world-class waterfront connecting downtown Kingston to Port Royal. This is a defining moment for Kingston. For generations, Kingston Harbour has been one of the country's greatest assets and one of our greatest unrealized opportunities. As the 7th largest natural harbour in the world, it has shaped our history, supported our economy, connected Jamaica to global trade. But much of this remarkable waterfront has remained inaccessible, underutilized, and increasingly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. Today, we are taking another decisive step towards changing that reality. Delivering a project of this scale requires strategic planning, coordinated execution, and strong partnerships. The Kingston Harbour Walk is therefore being advanced in carefully sequenced phases, each contributing to one connected national vision. The first phase has already begun through the Kingston Waterfront Improvement Project, where the Urban Development Corporation is leading the transformation of downtown Kingston waterfront in partnership with the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, with financing from the World Bank. This work is creating the foundation for a revitalized waterfront experience in the heart of the city. Today's signing marks the advancement of the next major phase. Through financing provided by the Government of Jamaica and the Caribbean Development Bank, we are commissioning the feasibility studies and detailed designs for the approximately 10 kilometers section stretching from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade to Harbourview. This assignment will provide the technical blueprint needed to move to this critical section of the Harbour Walk towards implementation. Future phases, including the connection along the Palisados to the historic Port Royal, will continue to build on this work, ensuring that each segment contributes to one seamless, resilient, and world-class waterfront stretching across the Kingston Harbour. International experience consistently demonstrates that carefully designed public waterfront stimulates investment, increases property values, strengthens local businesses, improves public safety, attracts visitors, and significantly enhances the quality of life. Kingston deserves that opportunity. Today's contract provides a technical foundation to make that possible. The joint venture of City Forest, Felix, Aqua, and Terra brings together internationally recognized expertise in landscaping architecture, urban design, climate science, coastal engineering, architecture, environmental management, transportation planning, civil engineering, and social development. Over the coming months, their multidisciplinary team will undertake shoreline characterization, hydrographic studies, urban development studies, stakeholders analysis, environmental and social impact assessments, climate risk and vulnerability assessment, engineering investigations, and detailed design work required to bring this project to implementation. They will also prepare the construction cost estimates and technical documentation that will guide future investments and delivery. Every successful waterfront in the world begins exactly where we are today. The Urban Development Corporation understands both the scale of this responsibility and the opportunity before us. For nearly 60 years, the Urban Development Corporation has led Jamaica's landmark development projects, from the transformation of the Kingston waterfront to the development of Ochiras, major tourism infrastructure, commercial centers, parks, public spaces, and national assets across the island. Our main mandate has always been to undertake development that creates lasting national value. The Kingston Harbour Walk will continue that legacy. We acknowledge the Government of Jamaica for its vision and leadership in advancing this transformative national project. We thank the Caribbean Development Bank for financing this important consultancy assignment through its Special Development Fund, supported by the governments of Italy's program Support Sustainable Development Projects in the CARICOM countries, and the European Union-funded Caribbean Action for Resilience Enhancement CARE program. We acknowledge the World Bank for its continued support of the Kingston Waterfront Improvement Project, a segment of the Kingston Harbour Walk, and recognize the Jamaica Social Investment Fund for its partnership in advancing that work. We further thank the Project Steering Committee with reps from the Port Authority of Jamaica, the Ministry of Finance and Planning, Disabilities Foundation, the PIOJ, JSIF, the Kingston Municipal Corporation, National Land Agency, National Water Commission, and the National Works Agency. All our other public sector and private sector stakeholders, and most importantly, the communities whose collaboration will be essential to the successful delivery of this national undertaking. The Harbour Walk will become one of the defining public spaces of modern Jamaica. Future generations will inherit a waterfront that is stronger, greener, more accessible, and more vibrant, because the decisions being made today place long-term national development above short-term thinking. On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Urban Development Corporation, I thank our partners for their confidence, our consultant for joining us on this important assignment, and every stakeholder who will contribute to bringing this national vision to life. Together, we are shaping the future of Kingston Harbour, and in doing so, helping to shape the future of Jamaica. I thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I hope we have taken the time to appreciate just the kind of magnitude of development that this Harbour Walk represents. And in case you may not remember all the details of what our chairman spoke about, we have assembled some quick facts. So when you look to your right, my left, you can quickly see the details of what the Harbour Walk will be delivering for our country. And as the chairman says, Kingston Harbour Walk is about to reach its full potential, so we look forward to that very much. At this time, I have the great pleasure of inviting to address us Dr. Oronde Small of the Caribbean Development Bank, and also want to acknowledge our other partners here today. Dr. Small.
Thank you, Mrs. Masters of Ceremony. Dr. the Most Honourable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, Minister of Local Government and Community Development, the Honourable Desmond McKenzie, His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Andrew Swaby, Minister of State in the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, the Honourable Donovan Williams, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Infrastructure Development, Mrs. Arlene Williams, other government ministers and officials, members of the Board of Directors of the UDC, Mr. Robert Honeygan, General Manager of UDC, and the management team of the UDC, development partners, members of the media, community groups, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is both an honor and privilege to represent the Caribbean Development Bank as we mark this important milestone in the Kingston Harbour Walk project. On behalf of the CDB, I extend sincere appreciation to the Government of Jamaica for its enduring partnership and the confidence it continues to place in CDB as a trusted development partner. Today's ceremony marks much more than the execution of a financing agreement. It underscores our shared commitment to advancing transformative infrastructure that delivers lasting social, economic, and environmental benefits, contributing to a more resilient and prosperous Jamaica. Kingston Harbour, the 7th largest natural harbour in the world, has for many years stood at the heart of Jamaica's history, identity, and economic development. as a gateway for international trade, a center of industry, and a defining feature of the nation's capital. It has played a pivotal role in shaping the country's growth and development trajectory. Yet, despite its strategic and ecological significance, the harbour has become increasingly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change, and over time has remained largely disconnected from the daily lives of the community that surround it. The Kingston Harbour Walk project seeks to change this reality. It embodies a bold and transformative vision, the creation of a continuous, climate-resilient waterfront promenade spanning approximately 25 kilometers from downtown Kingston to Port Royal. The segment that we advance today that moves from Raytown to Harbourview will directly benefit an estimated 32,000 residents, while delivering wider social, economic, and environmental benefits to more than 660,000 people who reside in the Kingston metropolitan area, and many more who visit this beautiful city each year. At CDB, we believe that the true value of infrastructure lies not only in its ability to connect places, but in connecting people to opportunity, in expanding economic potential and strengthening social, economic, and environmental resilience, which anchors sustainable development. It is our fervent belief that the Kingston Harbour Walk project embodies that philosophy. Its design will not only beautify Kingston's waterfront, but strengthen coastal protection and resilience against climatic shocks, encourage active lifestyles, support local enterprise, safeguard economic and industrial activity, and create a public asset that people will continue to enjoy for many years to come. So this is not simply an investment project. It is an investment in economic opportunity. It is an investment in resilience. It is an investment in people and communities, all intended to deliver the promise of a Kingston city that is more connected, that is more vibrant, more inclusive, and more resilient. The Kingston Harbour Walk project also reminds us that development is ultimately about people. It is about the child who will safely cycle along the waterfront. It is about the person with disability who can now enjoy a safe, accessible, and inclusive space. It is about the entrepreneur who will find new opportunities to grow a small business. It is about families who will now enjoy a safe and welcoming public space. CDB is pleased to support Segment 2 of the Kingston Harbour Walk project through our US $1.4 million in grant financing from a special development fund, with contributions from the Government of Italy and the European Union through its CARE financing program. We are grateful to the Government of Jamaica, the UDC, and our development partners for their commitment and stick-to-itiveness to advancing this important initiative. Prime Minister, ministers, distinguished guests, CDB again is honored to continue its partnership with Jamaica as Segment 2 of the Kingston Harbour Walk project advances toward creating a more resilient, accessible, and vibrant waterfront. We congratulate the Government of Jamaica, the UDC, all partners and stakeholders who have contributed to this important milestone, which represents yet another step towards securing Jamaica's climate-resilient, inclusive, and sustainable development. I thank you.
Many thanks to you, Dr. Small. All right, so our keynote speaker, his speeches always invite us to reflect on our history, to look forward at our future, and to consider what actions we need to take as we try to take our place in the world. He always asks us to engage our visioning, our imagination, and so today I invite our Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honourable Andrew Holness, to address us.
Thank you everyone, thank you. I promise you I will not be brief. I do have a few things to say. And since I have such a wonderful audience and we are seated by the sea, I see some fanning because it is a bit hot, but it is not inauspicious. So we can survive. I was not here for a few days, but I got the reports that it got blisteringly hot. I gather that the mayor had to give out some air conditioning units. Such is the climate. The climate changes by seasons, but the climate is also changing by the intensity of the seasons. And we have to prepare for it. We have to build for the climate. Allow me to acknowledge my Minister of Local Government, and I believe he's here more so in his capacity as Member of Parliament for West Kingston, which as part of the harbour. Allow me as well to acknowledge Minister Donovan Williams, Minister of State in the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, but he's here in his capacity as Member of Parliament for Central Kingston, a constituency that borders the harbour. And believe it or not, my good friend, no, you know what, let me not say that, you'll get into trouble. Let me acknowledge Mr. Philip Paulwell, Member of Parliament for East Kingston and Port Royal, my very good friend. And His Worship, the Mayor, Councillor Andrew Swaby. The only thing we share is the name. He's not my good friend. And of course, Permanent Secretary Arlene Williams, Mr. Norman Brown, Chairman of the UDC, Mr. Jorge Martinez from Carib Cement Company, Mr. Robert Honeygun, the General Manager of the UDC, Mr. Orlando Small, who addressed us from the CDB, all stakeholders, consultants, and members of the various boards who are here, stakeholders, all nice and decent people. Good afternoon. Today marks an important step in the renewal of Kingston and the larger work of building a more resilient, inclusive, and prosperous Jamaica. Kingston was built around the finest natural harbour in the world. So say I. And I suspect everyone sitting here. It is the 7th largest natural harbour in the world. And then, over a course of a generation, the city quietly turned its back on the finest harbour in the world. You know, Jamaicans have a concept of front page, front yard. And the truth is, we have not treated the Kingston Harbour as if it were our front yard. We have treated it like our backyard. And you know, the front yard, that's where you welcome guests. And indeed, the harbour is the front yard. That's where we have our airports and our ports. And indeed, the business hub of Kingston. But somehow, development was, I can't say directed, but for good reason maybe, development was concentrated more inland, more to Upper St. Andrew, Constant Spring, Halfway Tree and above. And at some point in time, we have to reckon with the high quality real estate that we have here in downtown Kingston that we have just literally abandoned. The mayor and I, and Member of Parliament for West Kingston, we were touring West Kingston a few weeks ago, and what we saw was a city that abandoned its assets. So I'm very pleased today to say that your government is taking a pivotal step in reclaiming, embracing downtown Kingston. Hurricane Melissa taught us a lesson. And that lesson is that we can't rebuild what was before the disaster. We have to rebuild what should have been before the disaster. We have to rebuild better than what existed before the disaster. Otherwise, we are merely inviting the destruction of what existed before the disaster. So, in taking on this mammoth project of the Kingston Harbour Walk, it is not our intention to be marginal, incremental, unambitious, safe, cheap. I'm not saying we're going to be expensive. But you get what I'm saying. We must, as a nation, build. And for several generations, we have been afraid to build. I don't know what it is. It's something has crept in our DNA, crept into our DNA, where we're just afraid to take on large, ambitious infrastructure projects. When I make these presentations, I'm often in a reflective mode. You know, the Hermitage Dam was built somewhere in 1919, thereabout. The Hermitage Dam, almost 100 years old. We have not built another project like that was built under the colonial era. Flat Bridge. You know, what always surprises me is whenever the weather channels are showing Jamaica during a hurricane, the only iconic thing they can find to show that was built in the colonial era in the 1800s. The Mona Dam, 80-year-old facility. Our generation must embrace infrastructure and build big infrastructure. We must be afraid of building infrastructure. I praise the builders. I praise the people who are willing to take one block and put it on another. But I praise even more those people who build orderly, who follow the rules, who plan, who protect the environment, and who build for the future. So I want to use this project to open the minds of Jamaicans as to what is possible. Now, I was in the United States to watch a major event. Yeah, let me put everybody at ease. I went there on my own dime. The government didn't pay for me to go. I paid for myself. But luckily, I was also the guest of FIFA. So I was invited to attend. And for good reason. You may know that Jamaica is part of a bid to host the Women's World Cup in 2031. Again, I want us as Jamaicans to stop thinking small-minded and think big. Right? Yes, we can be a co-host. But in order to do that, we need infrastructure. And that infrastructure will include the rehabilitation and redevelopment of our national stadium complex. Minister Grange would have given an update on that in a recent sectoral debate in Parliament. We are hopeful that work will start next year, 2027, and that we could be finished by 2029, 2030, but at least be finished in time to be an effective host, if the bid is accepted. It is only a bid at this moment. But at least we must show the ambition to host. And if Kingston is going to be, well, more than likely will be the host city, we need to have more things than just the stadium. Thousands of people will be coming. We need to be able to show them a good front yard. Yes. And it's not just the Women's World Cup. There are other major international conferences which are coming to Jamaica. By the way, just as an aside, but important, one of the reasons why Jamaica is getting so much attention is that Jamaica is now being viewed as a safe nearshore destination. The reduction in murders has a significant impact on how travel advisories are crafted. And when international entities are planning their itineraries and where to host their meetings, they do take into consideration what the travel advisories say, because the travel advisories inform the insurance requirements for mass movement of people, for meetings, seminars, and conferences. So there is a dividend for the entire Jamaica when crime and violence is low. It has not escaped the world, though it appears it has escaped several Jamaicans by the way they talk, that our murder rate was 50 per 100,000. Today, our murder rate, based upon 2025 figures, would be 25 per 100,000. Cut in half. And if we continue on the trajectory that we are, we could see a murder rate of 15 per 100,000 by the end of the year. That's our target. That's what we're pushing for. Mind you, El Salvador has cut their murder rate from 60 per 100,000. They are somewhere like 3 per 100,000. We are pushing as well, and we can get there. Now, if you pair peace with infrastructure, you are on a sure path for growth. Granted, they are the pessimists. They are the people who don't believe, who see everything as, it will never happen. Thank God we have people who are positive thinkers, who believe in Jamaica, and who are happy to see the progress being made. So today is a sign of that progress. The government did not just get up and say, look, we want to do the Kingston Harbour walk. Hire a contractor to go and start to clear the way. No, we recognize that there are many things to be done before we get to breaking ground and laying the first brick or driving the first pile. And so today we are having a ceremony to mark the contract signing of the engagement of the experts who are going to tell us how to do this thing the right way. Along the corridor are fisher folk, businesses like the cement company. There is a beach which we have not really kept. There is a community which was still known for its entertainment and its street cuisine. There are several residences along the way. And of course, there are bits and pieces of the harbor walk that people actually walk and fish and recreate. And so we don't want to build something that the people themselves will not embrace. That's what we want. We don't want to build something that is a white elephant. Nobody goes there. What we want to build is something where people from all over Jamaica and all over the world will come to experience. I'm saying this for the Jamaicans listening on, whoever will catch this on the news, but I'm more so saying this to the consultants who are here. Very important. What you design must be iconic. It must be a reason for people to visit. It must be functional. It must add value. And it must be cost effective. Right? It's a difficult task, but that's why we hire you as consultants and pay you well enough to do it. So that's what we want. Personally, one day I would like to run right around the harbor. The 15 kilometers is 15 miles. 15 miles. 25 kilometers, which is not bad. I think maybe I'll take 2 days to do it. Run it in halves. Maybe the equivalent of a marathon, maybe. But it would be good that you could walk, ride, or run. It must become the center of attraction. Now, there are all kinds of things to address because you have ports along the way, you have a shipyard, you have this, you have the cement company, you have all kinds. So you have to find creative ways to make the whole thing connected so that people can actually move through freely. So that is what I would want to see. This is the start of Jamaica embracing its natural asset, its valuable asset of the waterfront, making it safe and accessible for the people of Jamaica, becoming a magnet for entertainment, recreation, commerce, but eventually a legacy for all Jamaicans. Now, the Member of Parliament for East Kingston and Port Royal, he's not here for all of that. I mean, that's good for him. But what he's here for is that he thought I was coming to announce the Sir Florida's Glasspool Boulevard upgrading and improvement. Because we have been having this conversation that the driveway to the front don't look good at all. One of the blemishes would be the cement, the concrete rather, that has just been so unconscionably deposited on the roadway. The road has been allowed to deteriorate. But you may not recall immediately, Philip, but we did announce early July the Spark 2 program. And under the Spark 2 program, we announced, I believe it was 35 corridors that we are going to improve. And one of the corridors would be the Sir Florida's Gospel Boulevard. This road that runs along here from the roundabout at Harborview going all the way up to the intersection. And so all of that is going to be repaired to the highest standard. We intend to incorporate the cement company. We are going to have to figure out how the crossings across the road are addressed, the cement company, the flour mills, and all the other entities that have to move across the road. The median, how we're going to beautify that, how we're going to treat with it. So we want it to become an iconic, elegant boulevard. So yes, Philip, this is a part of the development of downtown Kingston. And the project is not just an announcement, it is funded. So we have announced $25 billion, which will deal with 35 important corridors. And no one can question that this corridor here, from the roundabout to, remind me of that road, Philip, that carries you back. Windward Road, yes. So it will take Windward Road and the Sir Flores Glasspole Boulevard. That's a corridor that carries a huge amount of traffic that will be totally upgraded, and this will become, to complement the Kingston Boardwalk, this will become a part of the Kingston Boardwalk upgrade. We have also announced, the press may not have carried this, during my budget presentations, the improvement of the roadway from the roundabout at the airport into Port Royal, because we have already started to make significant investments in Port Royal. It may have gone unnoticed, but we have put in a pier for which we are getting cruise ships. We have built a new arrival and reception area. We have built a new museum and restaurant. We have put in a new sewer plant, and we have run the water mains. So Port Royal is slated for major development. At another time, I will say some more about the developments that are already in the works and make the linkages between them. So you will begin to see the picture of what the government is doing to create and move development, particularly infrastructure development, in the area. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my great pleasure to participate in this event and to announce the contract signing and to give to the country the signal that we are moving with ambition, but with speed and alacrity, to build the infrastructure that will drive the growth and leave a legacy for generations to come. God bless you all, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Prime Minister. We are moving with speed and alacrity for the national development of Jamaica. At this time, we are going to have our signing ceremony. So if you'll give us a moment, we'll just situate ourselves so we can do that. All right, perfect. Thank you, everyone. Signed, sealed, and to be delivered. And with that, we are at the end of our program today. We thank you for spending your afternoon with us, and we invite you for light refreshments along the front corridors. Thank you once again. Actually, I do have a vote of thanks. Please allow me to introduce my general manager, Mr. Robert Honeygun, who will deliver the vote of thanks. Right? All right. We're going to do it from here. Is this good for our videographers, or do we need to go back into the center? Good from here? Okay, we'll try it from here.
Thank you, Mrs. Master of Ceremonies, for remembering me somewhat belatedly, but I won't hold that against you. I wanted to challenge everyone here today, if you could, to tell me the excerpt that I'm about to read, where it could have come from. This signifies a milestone in the redevelopment of the Kingston waterfront, which is indeed the first of the major redevelopments of urban areas planned by government. The development of these areas, however, are not separate projects conceived in isolation, but emanate from an overall physical development plan for the entire country. That was from the Minister of Finance and Planning, Mr. Edward Seaga, in 1968, when the Harbour Walk was first designed. It has taken us a long time to get here, but we're delivering on that promise. It's my great pleasure to again acknowledge everyone who has come out to join us today as we mark the signing of the contract for the undertaking of feasibility studies and detailed designs under the Kingston Harbour Walk project. I wish to thank Prime Minister Dr. the Most Honourable Andrew Holness. Thank you for your keynote address and for your continued leadership in advancing a development agenda that links infrastructure, resilience, and national transformation. My chairman, Mr. Norman Brown, for your stewardship and clear support, passion, and direction as the UDC continues to move this and other important projects from concept to reality. Chairman, you've challenged us at the UDC to do huge things. Challenge heard, challenge accepted. To our Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Arlene Williams, and our colleagues in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Infrastructure Development, thank you for your partnership, continued support, and trust in the work of the UDC. Ministers of Government and Ministers of Parliament, Minister McKinsey, Minister Williams, Minister Paulwell. Sorry, I apologize. Former Minister. PM, you tell me. You tell me, PM, you tell me. Your presence, impact, value, and perhaps breaking information news today has been well appreciated. Cherise Walcott, Head of NLA Commissioner of Lands, thank you for being with us, Cherise. I want to thank His Worship the Mayor, the Lord Mayor of Kingston and St. Andrew, His Worship the Mayor, Mr. Andrew Swaby. Thank you, sir, for being here and continuing to support our projects. I want to extend sincere appreciation to our development partners, the Caribbean Development Bank, the Government of Jamaica, Italian Grant Resources, European Union, our partners, the consultants, City Forester, Felix, Aquantero, Mr. Martin Sorbata and his wonderful team here today. You'll be spending a lot of time in Jamaica. Hopefully you have a tolerance for jerk chicken and jerk pork. Our appreciation goes out to the Project Steering Committee, comprising representatives from the Ministry of Finance and Public Service, Port Authority of Jamaica, Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, Planning Institute, of Jamaica, Jamaica Social Investment Fund, Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, National Environment and Planning Agency, the National Land Agency, National Water Commission, and the National Works Agency. A sterling example of full government interconnectivity at work. We thank all our public and private sector stakeholders, and most importantly, the communities, whose knowledge, participation, and continued collaboration will be vital, very vital, to the successful delivery of this national undertaking. To the consultant team, studies and designs, I would say, must adhere to coastal protection, public access, shared use mobility, amenity advancement, habitat restoration, and social inclusion. I want to thank the ministries, departments, agencies, and technical stakeholders, including the hard-working team who brought us to this stage. Projects of this nature demand alignment across procurement, legal review, environment, social safeguards, engineering, planning, communications, and finance. The work behind today's ceremony is therefore not incidental. It is a part of the project itself. To the stakeholders, businesses, and communities connected to this corridor, our sincere thanks to you. The waterfront belongs to the people of Jamaica, and meaningful engagement must remain central to the work ahead. Existing project documents make clear that stakeholders want redevelopment that addresses safety, pollution, inclusion, advancement of livelihoods. Lastly, I wish to express appreciation to the UDC board, our executive management team at the UDC, the project team, Maxine, Ron, Cheryl, led by Loy, our procurement team, legal, finance, corporate relations, and marketing, all team members who contributed to this milestone, to our very able Mistress of Ceremonies, Ms. Kim MacLeod, well done. The public often sees the ceremony, but not always the months of coordination, documentation, and follow-through required to make such a moment possible. Your professionalism is appreciated. Thank you all who attended and supported today's ceremony. May we continue to work together to create a city that is resilient, accessible, vibrant, and beneficial to the people of Jamaica. We are the UDC, making development happen. Thank you.
And with that, now we are at the end of the program. Thank you so much for being a captive audience. And the general manager has assembled a gift for you, so please look out for one of these as you move around. Thank you for being with us, and we'll have light refreshments on the inside. Thank you again.